All right, guys, welcome to Four Corner Sports. Take your base. I'm your host, Flavo Rihanna. All right, so this is gonna be the World Series predictions show. I'm gonna predict. Who's gonna end up winning it, in how many games, and who's gonna be a World Series MVP. So, if you guys didn't know, Atlanta and the LA Dodgers were facing one another. Atlanta was up 3-1. Tampa and Houston ended up facing each other. Tampa ended up leading 3-0 to start the series. So one of those teams that were leading their respective series didn't make it. The other obviously did. It is such a bad year to be a fan of Atlanta sports because the Falcons are doing horrible, and now you have the Atlanta Braves. Wow. All right, so I gave it away right there. The Dodgers ended up advancing to the World Series once again for the third time in 4 years, and the Tampa Bay Rays avoided being the second team in MLB history to end up surrendering a 3-0 lead in a playoff format. That was a tough series for Tampa. Houston looked like the cockroaches of Major League Baseball, and they were able to at least push a seventh game. But I mean, the MLB gods ended up saying no more Houston, no more Houston. We don't need Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa to be on the national stage of the World Series. But would that have been an amazing series between Dodgers and Houston. The ratings would have been off the roof, and things would have been highly personal because obviously, Houston ended up cheating in 2017, winning their title over the LA Dodgers. So yeah, I'm very, very excited between Tampa and the Dodgers at this point. Dodgers are trying to, win their first title since 1980, 87, 88, around there. And the Tampa Bay Rays are trying to win their very first title in franchise history. Now, you have two really great teams. One does everything exceptionally well. They're not great in every category, but they do everything completely well, and that's the Tampa Bay Rays. And you got the LA Dodgers, who have good pitching. They have great hitting, and they have a decent manager. Tampa, on the other hand, has an amazing manager. In my opinion, he's the best manager in baseball. A great bullpen. They have good starting pitching, and they have a very decent lineup. So, obviously, in the managing aspect right there, I lean more towards Tampa because Tampa has the advantage. I like how Kevin Cash manages a game. He knows when to pull his starter out. He knows what pitcher from the bullpen he needs to put in, and they usually do the job well done. Dave Roberts, on the other hand, I don't know. I feel like his decision making isn't the greatest sometimes, especially with Clayton Kershaw. We don't really know exactly what type of manager he is because, as you can tell, Don Mattingly have won Manager of the Year, leading the Florida Marlins the Miami Marlins into the playoffs for the very first time since 2003. And when he was a manager for the Dodgers, he had a star-studded lineup. He felt pressured onto forcing these star-studded people to play. You give him a roster what he has in Miami. He makes lemons out of lemonade, and he overachieved, and he ended up allowing the Marlins to make the playoffs. With the Dodgers, on the other hand, Dave Roberts, again, walks into a star-studded lineup, a star-studded roster. And I just personally feel that his decision-making isn't the greatest. Sometimes he puts Jansen out there too early, forces him to have 4-out saves, which isn't his best attribute right there, having him pitch for 4 outs. I think he just lucks up with players like Cody Bellinger, having Jock Peterson, Corey Seager, the Gingerhead Warrior, Justin Turner, Max Muncy. I feel like he benefits having those type of players. And Tampa, they don't really have nowhere near the level of players like that. I mean, sure, you have a great defensive outfielder in Kevin Kiermaier, Randy Arozarena, who won ALCS MVP. He has been coming out alive, so maybe he might become something of a top tier type of player. Sure, you have a Hunter Renfroe, but he's more of a B tier type of player. And yeah, I mean, like, the level of hitters that Tampa has doesn't reach nowhere near close what the Dodgers have. I don't know. Game 1 is gonna happen tomorrow. It's gonna happen at 9 o'clock, I believe. Game 1, Tampa's gonna throw out Tyler Glasnow. The Dodgers are gonna throw out Clayton Kershaw. In that matchup right there, I'm gonna lean more into Tyler Glasnow because Clayton Kershaw, his woes still have not been cured. In the playoffs, he still struggles. I mean, you saw what he ended up doing in, what was it, Game 4? Had a bad outcome. At 6-run inning, I mean, he wasn't himself at all. And at that point, I'm thinking, wow, like, Dave Roberts cannot put him in at all. And I don't know what's up with his psyche. He reminds me of the modern day Peyton Manning of baseball. The reason why I say modern day version of Peyton Manning in baseball is because Peyton Manning has put out outstanding numbers in the regular season, but come postseason, couldn't do squat. So, if I have to put out there, I predict Clayton Kershaw is going to end up falling down. Game 1, I think at some point he's going to give up like too many singles, too many hits in one inning, and he's going to have an early exit. As opposed to Tyler Glasnow, I have a lot more faith in him. He has pitched outstanding. He has pitched, exceptionally well. I mean, he probably had a couple hiccups, but I favor him over Clayton Kershaw, and that's just my opinion right there. But I'm gonna say it's a little bit more deeper than that. Tampa has a lot of experience pitching against Mookie Betts, and the reason why I say that is because Mookie Betts got traded from the Boston Red Sox, who the Boston Red Sox are in the same division as the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa's gonna have to figure out who they're gonna want to pitch to, whether it's gonna be Cody Bellinger or whether it's gonna be Mookie Betts. I think they're gonna end up pitching around Cody Bellinger, forcing themselves to pitch to Mookie Betts. I think with the amount of experience that they have, the amount of times they have seen Mookie Betts in the division of the AL East, I think it's gonna be more favorable for Tampa. But Tampa's gonna have a lot of game planning to do because, I mean, the Dodgers lineup is really, really stacked from top to bottom. It looks like an all-star lineup. And if anybody has the ability to crack down that code, it's going to be Kevin Cash. Kevin Cash has been outstanding this whole year. And he's one of the better managers of baseball, if not the best manager, in my opinion, when it comes to the sport of baseball. As for Game 2, the LA Dodgers haven't announced who is going to be their Game 2 starter. I have a feeling it's going to be Walker Buehler. But it's as for Tampa, they ended up throwing out Ian Snell for Game 2. I think for Game 2, depending if they put Walker Buehler out there or Dustin Mays, I think Game 2 is going to be more favorable for the Dodgers. Dodgers are going to be able to, I think, have a better chance with a pitcher like an Ian Snell as opposed to a Tyler Glasnow because of the way that Tyler Glasnow throws his changeup. His changeup is one of the filthiest things I've seen. And Ian Snell, I don't know. I just feel like the way he has his arm angle as he's pitching, it seems more comparable for the Dodgers to pick up his pitches. So as of right now, I have a feeling the Dodgers win Game 2. Game 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. No pitchers have been announced as of yet. But if I have to make a decision right now, and I will, I'm going to say Dodgers win in 6. Reason why I say that is just because of the fact that the all-star lineup that they have hitters from top to bottom that could put the ball in play. Yes, the Rays have exceptional hitters. They put the ball in play. They play great defense. They make minimal errors. They have a great bullpen. They have a good starting lineup. They have one of the best managers in baseball. And you would think, why would you not pick that team? I just feel like, I don't know, for whatever reason, I feel like it's time for the Dodgers to win. Maybe if they do win, they'll stop appearing in the World Series. I highly doubt that. But I just feel like you have another experience with Walker Buehler that he has now in the playoffs. You have a pitcher in Dustin Mays. Is Clayton Kershaw going to finally get those hiccups, those playoff woes out of the way? Are you going to have, Mookie Betts, reciprocate, a similar outcome that he ended up having when he ended up appearing in the 2018 World Series? Cody Bellinger now has a little bit more help in that lineup. So I just feel like the Dodgers, it's more heavily favored towards the Dodgers winning the whole thing. I feel the same way. I think World Series MVP, in my opinion, is going to be Mookie Betts. Because if they're going to pitch around Cody Bellinger like I predict, and they're going to give more chances to Mookie Betts is, to me, he's a top 2 player in all of baseball. You give him that many more pitches to see, he's going to end up hitting the ball. Whether it's out of the ballpark or putting the ball in play. Getting a single, double, you name it. He's going to be having runners in scoring position. He's going to be having runners on base. And if you're going to have him seeing a lot more pitches, because Tampa's going to be wanting to pitch to him more as opposed to Cody Bellinger, then it leans more of a high probability for Mookie Betts to win World Series MVP. So yeah, who do I feel that is going to be able to return back to the Fall Classic? Well, the Dodgers have an outstandingly overly paid roster, and that's just to say it out nice. I mean, they're paying a ridiculous amount of money for that roster. Tampa, on the other hand, it's nowhere near close. I mean, you're looking at like the Dodgers being Amazon, and you have the Tampa Bay Rays being your local bodega. All right, so that's how much the Dodgers have invested into their roster as opposed to Tampa, and yet Tampa still found a way to making it to the World Series. Look, I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing Tyler Glasnow versus Clayton Kershaw, and I just want to see Wee Man Choi playing. I want to see Kevin Kiermaier snagging a couple of home runs, making great dives. I want to see, is Randy Arozarena going to be able to pick it up what he ended up doing in the ALCS, we ended up doing in the ALDS, and in the wild card round. So I don't know. I mean, I'm very excited to see what these Tampa Bay Rays are going to be ended up doing in the World Series. And is Mookie Betts going to be having another great series? Is Cody Bellinger going to be belting a couple of home runs? How is Dustin Mays going to have a very good series? Because he pitched well in the NLCS. Is Clayton Kershaw going to continue with these woes? Who knows? But right now, I predict Dodgers in 6. If it happens to be the Rays that win it all, I'll be the first one to come out and say, hey, I was wrong. And I'll be happy to say I was wrong. Because deep down inside, I kind of do want the Rays to win. Just so they could get it over with and they finally clips their first World Series in franchise history. But and also because of the fact that I kind of am that type of person that loves to hear the underdog story. I love to see teams build up from the bottom up, with very little resources and still find a way winning it all, as opposed to the team that gets bought out. That's one reason why I'm not really a Yankee fan. Don't really respect that. That's why I'm a diehard Met fan. But that's neither here or there. Look, so like I said, Dodgers in 6. Mookie Betts, World Series MVP. Clayton Kershaw, I predict that he's probably going to still continue with these playoff woes. If not, then Dodgers have an extreme, chance of finishing this series earlier. But that's that. That's my predictions. All right, and that's take your base. So, like I said, I'm your host, Lavo Rihanna. Please like and subscribe to this video. Share this with your friends. Share this with your family, your parents, and so on. All right. We're going to have an episode for the MMA show tomorrow. Not tonight because it's already 12:30. And I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. So I'll talk to you guys later. And you guys have a good night. Like I said, Dodgers in 6.